What's up, guys? Your boy Benny. Nowhere in our Constitution does it say our Congress will become a nursing home that the taxpayers subsidize, where people who clearly can barely walk, think, and have full-blown dementia and handicaps can live out their days. But that's precisely what our Congress has become, and the results for this country have been horrifying. The results for the people that are serving have been horrifying. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for term limits and it's time for age limits inside of our government. To prove this point, I humbly submit to you a video of Dianne Feinstein, her last one in the Senate. She's 90 here. She's having to be carted around inside of the Senate, and her staffers are literally voting for her. Here's the video proof.
Priorities submitted.
Yeah, just say aye.
Okay, just aye.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. This is clearly how our founders intended our government to run. Degenerate, old, vapors, ghosts of human beings carted around like corpses with doughy staffers sitting on their fat asses telling them how to vote. It's despicable. It's really not a healthy way to function. It's not a healthy way to govern. These individuals, like here's Mitch McConnell getting rolled around in a wheelchair, right? They try to keep this from you. Why haven't Republicans spoken out about this? Mitch McConnell this week slipped on a table and busted his face up. Here's what his hand looks like. What is that in his hand? He broke his finger. There's a staple in his hand. Mitch McConnell fell down. It could have been a life-threatening injury. Why are they doing this? Why? It's a craven evil. You have no more say in society. You are well past your prime, and this is what you're going to do. You're going to torture all of us with your bad, dementia-riddled decisions, with gluttonous spending, all the way into the grave. Ladies and gentlemen, this is, of course, cast in stark relief with today news of Nancy Pelosi slipping and falling, not at one of her many mansions that she's gained off of insider trading, but in Luxembourg. So 84-year-old Nancy Pelosi is traveling to Luxembourg at the taxpayers' expense to do what? Like, in what universe should you be spending your last years on Earth representing America as like a walking corpse in Luxembourg? But here she is, and she's now hospitalized. I'm Nancy Pelosi's best friend in the world. I'm the one saying, get the F out of office. Leave. You shouldn't be doing this. You got a bunch of grandkids. Go spend time with them. Go take them to Universal Studios, Disney, the beach, whatever. Like, seriously, take your grandkids to Luxembourg. But Nancy Pelosi is flying over there on private taxpayer-funded jets and then breaking her hip. We now learn that Nancy Pelosi has broken her hip while traveling with a bipartisan delegation, blah, blah, for the 80th anniversary of Battle of the Bulge, which Pelosi was alive for, which is insane. Pelosi was 4 years old during the Battle of the Bulge. I mean, it's like, what a world, man. This is like the most powerful person in the Democrat Party. She sustained an injury. What injury did she sustain? So this is her staff saying this. This is Nancy Pelosi's staff saying she has sustained an injury. Well, it's a little more serious than that, actually, kiddo. Apparently, Nancy Pelosi freaking broke her hip. Ladies and gentlemen, Nancy Pelosi hospitalized after hip fracture in Luxembourg. What? Dude, okay, I called a couple doctors that I know. This is really, really serious. You know that people who are in her age demographic, which is 65 and older, which is considered high risk, severe risk during hip fractures, 1 in 4 die, according to data provided by Stanford Medical School. 1 in 4 hip fractures are indications of brittleness and pneumonia and other sicknesses that are going on inside of your body. Alzheimer's, inability to like coordinate your emotions. Here's what happened. According to the New York Times, here we go. A person familiar with the incident says that she tripped going downstairs at a palace. Kind of on brand, I guess, for people that think they're royalty and act like it, but here we are. People close to her said that she fractured her hip while falling down a marble staircase, which is the worst. I mean, listen, if you have old people in your family, it's the worst possible thing to like hear. Former Speaker Nancy Pelosi hospitalized on Friday after being injured traveling abroad. Nancy Pelosi sustained an injury during her official engagement. Pelosi tripped going down a marble staircase at the Grand Ducal Palace, took a hard fall. According to a person familiar with the incident, it's not authorized to speak on condition of anonymity. People close to Pelosi in California and Washington, D.C. speaking on a condition of anonymity say they were not authorized to speak about her, but she suffered a severe hip fracture when she fell. The doctors were confident that the damage could be repaired with an operation. It's not clear whether it will be done in Luxembourg or the United States. She was traveling with colleagues. Here's a photo. Here's Nancy Pelosi. Look at Nancy Pelosi. She can barely hold herself up. Here she is gripping the hand of this dude. He's a Republican member of Congress, of course. She's like fist gripping. Her hands are white, gripping the hand. Dude, I mean, this is so enraging. First off, what the hell are why are we paying for all these jackasses to travel over here anyway? Stupid. Okay, recognize some real dumbasses in this photo. Like, why are these people representing Susan Collins? Susan Collins should be doing nothing but sitting her ass in her office and rubber stamping Donald Trump's nominees for the Department of Defense instead of going over to Luxembourg on a taxpayer-funded glut. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a real crisis that we are in. It's called gerontocracy. Rule of the old, something that Socrates and Aristotle both warned against. This is why they had age limits in other governing bodies like Greek and Roman governing bodies around the world. There are age limits for how old you can be because, quite frankly, some people do need to be pushed out. Some people need to be kept from running for office when they're too young. There are requirements for how young you can be when you run for office and for president, Congress and president. There should be requirements for how old you can freaking be. Listen, dude, we did our research. We called about broken hips. Serious complications can result from hip fracture. Patient may have to remain in traction for a specified period of time after the surgery. Blood clots can occur, veins, usually in the legs. If a clot breaks off, it can travel to the blood vessel to the lung. This blockage is called a pulmonary embolism. It can be fatal. Other complications include pneumonia, muscle atrophy, post-operative infection, non-union, improper union of the bone, mental deterioration following surgery in older patients, bed sores from lying in the same position. With some fractures, blood cannot circulate properly in the femoral head, resulting in loss of blood supply to the area. This is called femoral vascular necrosis. This complication may occur during the type of fracture and the anatomy of the person's blood supply to the head and femur and bone. This could be fatal. These hip fractures are freaking fatal in people that are Nancy Pelosi's age. Look at this. What are the causes of hip fractures? Falls, car accidents, sports injuries. What are the major risk factors? Adults over 65. Well, she's 84. People with health conditions that weaken their bones. And athletes. And people assigned female at birth. Seriously. Whatever. Well, I think that's Nancy Pelosi. Yeah, we've already seen Nancy Pelosi slipping. Okay? So we've already seen Nancy Pelosi in like strange situations like her brain snap, like very Biden style when she's like doing interviews.
Any arrows out of your quiver, you're not ruling anything out.
Here she is in the middle of an interview like a year ago.
Good morning. Sunday morning. We have a responsibility. We take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution.
See, even George Stephanopoulos, like, she just had like a seizure or something? Like, what's going on? Like, Nancy Pelosi is already showing signs of like lucid senility.
Architects showing me new buildings he's building throughout the world. And they were like,
80. He's a kid, but it's a kid. It's relative. He's younger than I am, so he's a kid to me as well. The president is.
She's saying Joe Biden is younger than her, so he's just a kid to me. Everything's great. Everyone's great. Our country is led by literal crypt keepers and people clawing their way out of the grave. Speaking of clawing, I mean, look at this photo. She's gripping the hand next to the congressman standing next to her. Here's a photo of the Luxembourg embassy released of members of Congress. I'm the best friend Nancy Pelosi's got in this world. I'm the best friend she's got in the world. Okay? So let me tell you something. It's a little bit of hard truth. Your past, your prime was about 20 years ago. You need to retire for the sake of you and your family. Nancy Pelosi, you'll probably never see Nancy Pelosi again. Nancy Pelosi will be bedridden or hospitalized for the next 9 months. Okay? It's over because you pushed it too far. You were too craven and greedy for power. You're a freaking vampire. Give it up. Hang it up. Be done. For the sake of you and your grandkids, be done. Like, they'll thank you for it. Yeah, you won't get the insider trading tips anymore, but you, McConnell, all of you, like, you need to hang it up. Your decisions that you make you're making the worst possible decision vector. You're making decisions. You won't be around in 10 years, okay? That's just the way it is. You've already lived well past when most Americans have already plotted, okay? So you're making decisions that you will not affect you. It's the worst possible way to make a decision. The worst possible decision factor. You're making like trillions of dollars of American economic decisions are being made by people who won't be around in 10 years to suffer the consequences, or 5 years, or 2 months. Who knows? All I know is that this is an awful way to run a country. And now, with every fall and every slip, every broken bone, every smashed face, these people who like cravenly gobble up and claw away power until they're literally in the grave, these people prove that they were unfit for the office in the first place. And that it's not about public service, it's about self-service. And you actually denigrate the offices that you hold. So hang it up. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. Pray for resignations soon so these people can live out their day in peace, all right? Stop harming the rest of us.